Welcome to Wilkins Stadium, ready for game number 2. In fact, they were ready before we were. We were given a 5 o'clock first pitch, and, well, a few minutes before 5, here we are. Wichita State in Western Illinois. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you. We are 2 batters into the game. The first one, Jasmine Lara for Western Illinois, led off the game with a single, and that's where we are. Runner at first, nobody out, top of the first inning. Wichita State in game 2 of this doubleheader as they take on Western Illinois. It's a doubleheader for the Shockers as they just finished polishing off Missouri State about half an hour ago by the score of 3-1. And again, we apologize. Everybody in the press box was under the assumption the game would start at 5, and the umpires were ready to go at about 4:54. And so thus we are 2 batters into the game. 2 balls and no strikes now to Rachel Beatty, as Wichita State tries to get their second win of the day, while Western Illinois trying to salvage one of the 2 that they're playing today. They lost to Missouri State earlier today, 5-0. Pitch is in there for a strike to Beatty, 2 balls and a strike to her. Caitlin Bingham is the pitcher for Wichita State. So after a terrific outing for Bailey Lang, it's now Bingham that is in the circle for Wichita State. Runner at first, nobody out. This one lifted on the infield, and it's going to be Mackenzie Wright calling over near the pitcher's circle, and Wright makes the catch, 1 away. Riley Buck is at first place for Wichita State. Kaylee Hecker is at second. Lori Derrico, the shortstop. Mackenzie Wright making that play over at third. Asia Weber is in left field for the Shockers. Bailey Nickerson's in center, and over in right field, Paige Llewellyn for Wichita State. So here's Peyton Abbott now, the shortstop. Ground ball, this is fair, over to third. Wright's going to throw to second, and just in the nick of time. Nice play by Mackenzie there, Jamie, as that was the only option, the shortest throw, and it was just in the nick of time.
Yeah, that's what you like to see out of a senior. That, you know, we always talk about her gold glove over there, but what a great decision on top of everything. I mean, you've got a ball right down the line, knowing that your team needs that out, that lead out, and she took it right here down the line. Perfect opportunity to get that lead out. Nice job by Mackenzie Wright.
Boy, you want to talk about a bang-bang play. That one looked awfully close to Lara being safe at second base, but she's retired 5-4. And now it's Haley Dua who's up there now. Western Illinois 6-14 on the season. Wichita State 11-8. It's going to be Western Illinois getting a fly ball to right field by Dua, and that'll do it. So after a leadoff single for Lara, it's going to be Wichita State coming up after half an inning scoreless from Wichita.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Just one hit for Western Illinois in the top of the first inning. Wichita State now will get their first crack at Emily Ira. Emily Ira has a 2-5 record this season, but she is a very good pitcher for this Western Illinois program, and she is approaching a milestone, kind of like the milestone we saw in Game 1 with the Shockers' Bailey Lang, who picked up her 200th career strikeout after she got to 3 in the first game of this Wichita State doubleheader.
Yeah, it looks like Ira just needs 3 strikeouts, and she will take the spot of the 3rd all-time career strikeout leader here at Western Illinois. So she's certainly looking to do that. Has 51 strikeouts coming into this game, only 7 walks. So what a great ratio there. She does, though, have 48 hits in 49 innings pitched, so she tends to give up at least one hit here or there each inning, but it looks like she does a good job keeping a strong consistency with her strike-to-ball ratio.
Well, if Mackenzie Wright keeps swinging the bat the way she did in the first game, she's going to make life difficult for Wright. Mackenzie was 3 for 3 in the first game. She actually had 4 plate appearances and a walk in the other, so she was on base every time in the first game. And here, Mackenzie's got the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wichita State picked up, as I mentioned earlier, their 12th win of the season. Or excuse me, their 11th win of the season in the first game today that they played, the win over Missouri State. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mackenzie Wright. Mackenzie will be followed by Riley Buck and Lori Derrico. Paige Llewellyn hits cleanup. Madison Peregrine after that. Then Caitlin Bingham hits 6th. Batting 7th, Asia Weber. Bailey Nickerson bats 8th, and Morgan Palmer hits 9th, and that's your Wichita State lineup. Pitches away to Mackenzie, and the count's even at 2-2. Mackenzie's average has skyrocketed now up to 279 with her 3 for 3 game 1. That's good because she was at 2-6, or excuse me, she was around 250 to start the day. Counts full to Mackenzie now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count pitch, sliced back and out of play. And the count's still 3-2. Much better crowd today, Jamie, than we saw here Tuesday, that's for sure, with the weather the way that it is today.
Much prettier day outside here in Wichita. Had a fun event on campus actually earlier today for all of our admitted prospective students interested in Wichita State. Gave away some free tickets to come over and check out some softball and baseball, and they came out. We ran out of tickets. They're really excited about this nice weather.
Very nice. Yeah, it's a good day for that. Pitch fouled back and out of play. Shocker baseball team taking on Texas Arlington over at X Stadium. They got the win 5-1. How about the start for that baseball team at Wichita State? Shockers got a win last night over UT Arlington as well. They'll play again tomorrow. Count is full to Wright. Mackenzie sends another one foul out of play, and the count's still full, 3-2.
How about this at bat? Your leadoff hitter of the game against a great pitcher. Definitely an opportunity that you're looking to see a lot of pitches in this first at bat. No matter what, Mackenzie Wright's going to have a lot of information to take back to her offense after this at bat.
Emily Ira is making her 11th appearance of the season, her 8th start. Wright sends this one pretty well struck left field. This one is back, and it's going to bang off the wall, and Mackenzie Wright is now on a 4 for 4 day as she's got a double right here to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Boy, she really smacks this one in. Other than a single, Jamie, in the first inning where she kind of muscled one that was in on the fists in the first game, all of her other 3 hits have been very, very solid contact.
Yeah, that was an awesome hit. Great spot for Mackenzie Wright. Looked like she hesitated a little bit coming around. There was a little bounce off the fence there, but it played to her favor. She was able to get 2 out of that. Great hit from the senior from Midwest City, Oklahoma.
So Riley Buck will now try to move Mackenzie Wright over. And here's that opportunity that the Shockers have been missing. I talked about in the first game, moving runners over and manufacturing. Almost all of their runs in the last couple of games have been via the home run. And Madison Peregrine's the one with the 2 home runs in the last 2 games at that. This one bunted foul, and the count's 0-2. Riley Buck at 300 on the year, 1 homer and 6 runs batted in. That double, by the way, for Mackenzie Wright is her 4th of the season. Sunny day in Wichita. Light breeze out of the north. That one fouled straight back to the screen. 0-2 to Buck.
Back in 2016, Riley Buck was named to the Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. And in 2015 was on the USA women's baseball team. So got a fun little resume built up as an athlete here at the plate as Buck.
Boy, she takes, and that was a good pitch by Ira right down the middle, and down goes Buck, one away. Well, there wasn't much doubt about that one, Jamie. It was right down the heart.
Yeah, that looked like that was just a buckled situation, probably expecting a ball with 2 strikes on her and just got caught looking. You know, it's definitely something that you usually see a ball when you got 2 strikes on the batter, but as a pitcher, man, you can really fool them when they're expecting something a little out of the zone.
And Ira doing what she's accustomed to, throwing strikes. 0-1 to Lori Derrico now. Lori was 1 for 4 against Missouri State, so her average starting the game at 255. Looking up and down this Wichita State lineup, Jamie, there's just not a lot of high averages like we're used to seeing as we've talked about the last couple of games. This one fouled back. Paige Llewellyn was at 417 before the Arkansas game, but she's really been quiet as of late. Her average starting this game down to 355, but again, that's only in 31 at-bats this season due to injury. But again, we also want to make sure everybody remembers the type of teams and pitching this team has faced as well. There's a strike, and down goes Derrico. And speaking of, Emily Ira's come out throwing strikes after the leadoff double to Mackenzie Wright.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Steve, Ira's coming in here with the expectation of being able to throw a great strike. You can see here against Derrico. Yeah, there's no question there. That's a great pitch right on the outside corner. Now only 1 away, being a 3rd all-time strikeout leader, career leader at Western Illinois.
Paige Llewellyn sends one foul and out of play. Paige did have 1 base hit in the first game. She was 0 for 3 Tuesday, so 1 for her last 7. She also drove home the 3rd run of the game for Wichita State. Pitch upstairs. The way the Shockers were going in that first game and the way that Bailey Lang was going, you didn't know if that run would actually make much of a difference, putting them up 3-0 going to the top of the 7th. But it got a little dicey there in that top of the 7th inning.
It did. You mentioned the Shockers playing with fire a little bit sometimes, having a big inning kind of pop up toward the late half of a game, and so that definitely showed some leadership in Lang to come back, strike out the side of Missouri State, and really put those bats to bed, providing a nice little win for the Shockers earlier today.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Llewellyn. And swing and a miss, strike 3, and she strikes out the side, does Ira, and there you go. She now moves into 3rd place all-time in strikeouts at Western Illinois. Emily Ira strikes out the side after the leadoff double. We go to the 2nd scoreless. Each team with a hit, each team scoreless as we go to inning number 2. As the Shockers have Caitlin Bingham going in the nightcap. This was how Emily Lang finished off, though, the first game. As I mentioned, things got dicey for her, but she struck out the side as Missouri State threatened at the end of the first game. The Bears had them loaded and ended up getting 1 run in that 7th, but there's Lang finishing it off. She ended up with 9 strikeouts in the game, and she pitched a whale of a game. Wichita State won that one by the score of 3-1. Now here we are in game 2, and Caitlin Bingham making her 12th appearance of the season. Looking at Ashley Minyard first. Minyard having a nice season, 324 at the plate. That one in there for a strike. Bingham in 26 2/3 innings this season has surrendered 24 hits, 21 earned runs. The 1-1 is down low. I know Ryan Stefankowitz, the pitching coach for Wichita State, would like for her to work on her walk to strikeout ratio. 16 walks, 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, Bingham pitched a career high of 4 innings against Ohio State, ranked number 21 at the time, and actually struck out a career high of 4 in that game. So definitely somebody who has the capacity and the opportunity here to step in a strong little lineup here for this pitching staff of Wichita State.
There's Coach Stefankowitz, and look who's charting with him. None other than Bailey Lang. That one down low. It's kind of nice if you're Bailey Lang and somebody that pitches so much to be able probably to get a break for a game and sit back and sometimes just watch. You're out there so much, and sometimes it helps, I think, just to have a game every now and then, like she's getting this one. There's a swing and a miss for a strikeout, just to sit back and watch and observe, gather your thoughts before your next outing, which I'm sure she'll have tomorrow.
Yeah, you can definitely see Wichita State's dugout is active. They've got a lot of players with clipboards and information. They're working together as a team regardless of if they're on the field or not. They're a part of this team. They're working together. They're sharing signs and information that they see. And the pitching staff absolutely is a part of that, learning from every single game.
You can see Coach Stefankowitz chatting with Bailey Lang as well. I think even great pitchers probably in softball still can benefit from just having that game like this one to sit back and observe. That one low and in. Wichita State will play Western Illinois again tomorrow. And again, that'll be the first game when the Shockers play 2. It'll be at 1:30, by the way. We'll have that for you here on Shocker HD and WSU TV. 2 balls and no strikes. And that one just a bit upstairs. 3-0. Kelsey Marlowe is the hitter, a 207 average, no homers and 5 runs batted in. Perfect that time from Bingham, 3-1.
Bingham was a standout in high school, coming in here as a freshman at Wichita State. She was in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, named 2014 Offensive Player of the Year, 2015 and 16 Most Valuable Player, and 2016 Offensive Player of the Year. So definitely has a nice stacked resume from her outings in high school. Hoping to bring that here. And again, just like we mentioned, becoming a great member of this pretty stacked pitching staff at Wichita State.
3-2 now, so a good job by Bingham on working the count back full now after she was down in at 3-0, but this one's going to be ball 4, and down to first base goes Marlowe. So the first walk issued by Bingham is to Kelsey Marlowe, the number 6 hitter in the Western Illinois lineup, and that'll bring up Hallie Hollitz now, the left fielder, second baseman, excuse me. Western Illinois is known as the Leathernecks. Pitch to Hollitz is in there for a strike, 0-1. Hollitz 246 on the year, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in. After the doubleheader tomorrow, it'll be 5 games for Wichita State away from Wilkins Stadium. Then conference play here in a couple of weeks. Memphis will be in to start American Athletic Conference play for Wichita State. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hollitz. Shockers will be in Omaha for the Creighton tournament next weekend. Bouncing ball foul. Wichita State will play Iowa and Creighton twice next weekend in a format similar to this one. And then they're going to stay in Omaha for a single game Tuesday the 20th against Omaha before the start of conference play. Fair ball just inside the bag at third. Rounding second on her way to third is Marlowe. She's going to slide in safely, and that'll be a double for Hallie Hollitz. So second and third now for Western Illinois with one away, and that'll bring up Brooke Stolga now.
It's a nice piece of hitting by Hollitz just down the line. That's a tough play for a third baseman to make, and you see it go all the way into the outfield. And what a great call by Galicko, the head coach there for Western Illinois, telling her runners to continue to go. She obviously has some really good instincts, knowing that that was an opportunity to take the extra base.
Brooke Stolga will now step in, the first baseman, with a .222 batting average. And she rips one into center. This one's going to go down. It's going to score at least one. Here comes Marlowe to score. Hollitz is being waved around as well. There'll be no throw. It'll be a 2 RBI base hit for Stolga. And Western Illinois is taking a 2-0 lead. And Christy Bredbender is really yelling out at her center fielder, Bailey Nickerson, about something. I'm not sure if she misplayed this or threw it to the wrong spot, but Coach Bredbender jumped out of the dugout and started hollering at Nickerson.
Now you can see here the throw was definitely off. I mean, it hit kind of almost the edge of the infield, so no chance at home. You got to wonder, though, if she would have made the attempt home, if that would have been a closer play, but no opportunity there for Nickerson.
So 2 runs scored for an opponent. That hasn't happened against Wichita State in a little while. Shockers won 3-1 in the first game of their 2 today. They beat Arkansas on Tuesday 1-0. But already 2 here for Western Illinois in the top of the second inning. Emily Ira, the pitcher, is now up at the plate, and time has been called. She's ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes.
Looks like Paragon's just going to talk to her pitcher, and Bingham, you know, you're coming back with having a rough, hit right there, and then now with 2 balls behind the batter, a 2-0 count's a rough place to be when you're in a situation with only 1 out and kind of giving up a few runs here. So the freshman needs to kind of, refresh, start over, see if she can go ahead and wrap up this inning and get her offense up to the plate.
Brooke Stolga with runs batted in 7 and 8 with that 2 RBI single to center field moments ago. And making matters worse for Caitlin Bingham. She's behind in the count here, 3-0. Swing and a miss. Interesting that Ira, ahead in the count 3-0, is not taking all the way. That one looked like it might have been ball 4 low. High and tight, there is ball 4, and now runners at first and second for Western Illinois. So this one has already started off with a completely different complexion than the first game, where Bailey Lang was almost untouchable. That one was close, but not quite.
Yeah, a little high in the zone. You could hear the Wichita State fans kind of oohing and on about that. Definitely looked good, but from the replay there, you can see it was just a little high.
Christy Bredbender is out of the dugout. You can see her in the background there, and Wichita State might be going to the bullpen already, as it's a bit of a rocky start here in this one for Caitlin Bingham. And it looks like Haley Martinez is coming on to pitch now for Wichita State. So there it is. Coach Bredbender making sure it's penciled in. Martinez, the new pitcher for the Shockers. So we'll have a bit of a delay here as Martinez comes out to get in some warm-up tosses, and what's going to be just the 7th appearance of the season for Martinez. The numbers look very good, but again, in only 13 2/3 innings this season. Martinez, a 1-0 record, making her 7th appearance, all in relief, by the way. And there's a look at Haley right there.
Yeah, Martinez is a freshman, right-hander. She's slowly earning more playing time now as a reliever, as you mentioned, Steve. She's had some pretty solid outings. She's seen number 4 Washington as well as Virginia Tech, so she's seen some good ball players so far in her career.
She's out of Bloomington, Minnesota, Jefferson High School. her job now to come in and stop the bleeding, as you see some of Martinez's numbers. And of course, we're so spoiled here for so long, the last few years, having that great 1-2 punch of Katie Malone and Jenny Brooks. And obviously, Bailey Lang has stepped to the forefront for Wichita State in terms of being that ace pitcher. And I think right now, Christy Bredbender is trying to find that complementary piece to Bailey Lang. The Shockers also may have sent more down to the bullpen to warm up. You can see in the background there. But right now, it's in the hands of Haley Martinez. Wichita State's also brought Mariana Gemelli out to second base. So Gemelli moves into second base now, as Coach Brenner goes with that defensive substitution as well. First batter that Martinez will face is going to be Jasmine Lara, and she takes the ball 1-0. Lifted foul left side. Chasing is Asia Weber, but she runs out of room. So Lara will hit back to the plate, and she'll try it again. Still a fairly light breeze blowing out of the north in from left field. Shouldn't change a whole lot on any fly balls hit that way. Certainly not anything like we saw on Tuesday. Just a tad low. 2-1. Again, the Shockers will start an hour earlier tomorrow, 1:30 for their first game with this Western Illinois team, as Lara sends one left again, 2-2. Another one that misses. The count's full at 3-2. Haley Martinez, 13 2/3 innings, has given up 2 earned runs this season. Coming into today, she had walked 3 and struck out 5. Opponents hitting .286 against her. Here's a bouncing ball to Derrico. There was a little contact there on Lori. It was incidental, but it almost looked like she got kicked by Stoga running by her to third. It'll be interesting to see that on the replay. That's going to be a base hit, but see if there wasn't some contact between Stoga and Derrico right there. Almost looked like with that back left foot, it might have caught Lori's knee as Lori was fielding. Even if it didn't, that made it all the more difficult for Derrico.
Yeah, that's a tough play when you got a runner running right in line with you. You can see here in the replay again that, you know, she's going to see a few feet in front of her as she's trying to make a good play at short. And, you know, that's interesting because if she does make contact here, the right definitely goes to the defender. So, well, it looks like she must have just missed it right there in the replay. You can see it in slow motion there. Her feet just happened to miss the ball.
Hot shot into center. This one's deep. They're loaded. And this is going to score at least 2 on a shot by Beatty to center. They're going to try to clear the bases, and they will. Rachel Beatty, a 3 RBI double to center field. It is now 5-0 Leathernecks. How about this start for Western Illinois? That was a hot shot screamer, Jamie, and for Beatty, she had 4 RBIs coming into the game. She almost doubled it right there. She's got 7 now. Yeah, she got all of that, and there was no way that the outfield was prepared for something like that. In fact, they were up against Beatty, so you notice that they were a little short, and so there was definitely a turnaround taking place there for center fielder Nickerson, running all the way to the wall and definitely coming around with some great scoring for the Western Illinois team. Peyton Abbott takes a strike. The count to her is even, 1-1. So Wichita State goes away from the ace here in the nightcap of their 2 games, and it's been a struggle so far for both Caitlin Bingham and Haley Martinez.
This is definitely one of the longer innings that Wichita State defense has faced. You know, having only 1 out now, 5 hits, 5 runs. This is definitely not the start that you typically see from the Shocker defense. I have a feeling, you know, Coach Bredbender is going to be calling her team together before their offensive stand and maybe even pull them out to the outfield. She's definitely known for doing that, maybe starting over, not paying attention to the score as they hopefully have some offensive outings of their own.
Martinez was very close there, but the count's full 3-2. And the thing is for Wichita State, you know, in obviously so many recent seasons, 5-0 lead, second inning, you don't want to be there, but those teams were always such good offensive teams, and this season's team to this point, you know, has not shown the consistency to one that you might feel good about coming from behind, down 5-0 at least, going into the bottom of the second inning. Swing and a miss, and there are 2 away. Having said that, you talked about Coach Bredbender kind of having some less than subtle words to her teams in situations like this. We've also seen them respond very well when she has.
Definitely, and you can see Haley Martinez coming in with a nice pitch on the corner. That's huge from the freshman. She's, you know, she knows what the score is, and she knows what situation she came into here. The last out actually being a strikeout against Menard back in the early half of this. Actually the first at bat of this entire inning. So definitely something that you're looking as a freshman to kind of wrap up and show your team that you've got this and that you can start in this second inning and definitely put away a good offense that Western Illinois is proven to be here.
1 ball and 1 strike to Haley Dua, who is the 9th batter to bat in the inning for Western Illinois, and she takes a strike 1 and 2. 5 runs for the Leathernecks this inning. They've batted around now, and Haley Martinez is trying to say enough's enough right here. Couldn't get strike 3 home, and the count's even 2 and 2. Shadows are crossing the field now. You can see in the background over at first base, Riley Buck shading her eyes as they're out near the circle. The shadows are. This one is pretty well struck. Center field, that's down. That'll be a base hit. That'll score Beatty. A double here for Dua. It is 6-0 Western Illinois. Their bats have really come alive. 9th run batted into the season for Dua. And these aren't cheap hits either, Jamie. These Leathernecks are getting their cracks and they're taking advantage.
Yeah.
Well struck balls.
Oh yeah, that was, I mean, even off the bat, that was an awesome hit as far as just the strength behind it. Couldn't tell right off the top if Nickerson was going to have a chance at it. Didn't look like it. Bringing in the 6th run for Western Illinois in the second inning.
So the 10th batter to bat in the inning for Western Illinois is Ashley Minyard. Interestingly enough, she started it all off, Jamie, striking out. So things started off okay this inning, but it quickly collapsed after Kelsey Marlowe, who's on deck now, walked. Then it went double, single, walk, single, 3 RBI double. That's when the wheels came off. Mackenzie Wright's got a chance to end it, and she does. 5-3, but not before. 6 cross for Western Illinois, and they pick up 5 hits along the way. Bottom of the second, Shockers have some work to do, down by 6.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, Wichita State now will have to play some catch-up. Down by 6, and Jamie, you called it. When Wichita State has a half inning like they had defensively, this is what Christy Bredbender does between innings after the 3rd out is finally made.
Yeah, they're still out there right now. Western Illinois already threw the ball down, ready to go. And the Shocker team's still out there in their huddle. So I'm sure they had a conversation that was about, you know, we got to reload here. You got to make the easy outs when you can. You got to stop the bleeding when you can. And this is really a chance for the Shocker offense to show what they've got and see if they can come back and kind of put one hit together at a time.
You've been a part of some of those mid-game speeches, I'm sure. They're not always fun, but as I said earlier, they can oftentimes, with Christie, be motivating. Madison Perrigan to start it off. There's a strike, 0-1. Shockers just got back to their dugout. What they did, Jamie, is Perrigan went on ahead and swung the bat on deck, and it was everybody else that was out in right field, like you said, literally up until Western Illinois was ready to throw the first pitch of the half inning. That one had a little movement. Good pitch, 0-2 to Perrigan.
Western Illinois has 4 wins on the season right now that have scores of 6 or more in their column as far as the offense goes. All 6 of those are the wins that they've had this season, so they definitely know what they're doing as far as the hit columns go. So 4 of their 6 wins have been with 6 or more runs in that win column.
0-2 the count here. Perrigan with homers now and back-to-back games. Leader on this team in home runs, leader on this team, and it's not even close in runs batted in. This is going to be what looks like a 1-3 putout, though it is. She struck it well, but a one-hopper right back to Ira. 1 away. Good reflexes out on the circle by Ira right here. Again, pretty well struck ball.
Yeah, it's not always even the ground ball that's the hardest part of that. It's the throw, mostly for the pitchers, going from an underhand motion to an overhand. She did a great job setting her feet and making the nice, easy throw over to first.
Caitlin Bingham is now in. And did she go around? She did. 0-1 to Bingham. Beg your pardon, this is Mariana Gemelli, who came in as a defensive replacement back in the last inning. So it's Gemelli who's in instead of Bingham. Swing and a miss there. Bingham was scheduled to hit in this spot, but she never made it up there, Jamie. She was pulled in the second inning, and now as a result of that, Gemelli comes in to hit and plays at second base. I mentioned the shadows. They're now beyond the pitcher's circle. There's a strike, and down goes Gemelli for out number 2. So a quick 2 up and 2 down. Shadows about halfway between the circle and the first to second baseline. There you can see it. The last half inning, they were between the third baseline and the circle, and that's when it can be a challenge for hitters, seeing that ball from the sunlight into the shadows, but completely engulfed in shadows now. Not still very easy, though, if you're out at second base or center or right field, where you can still see those players shading their eyes before each pitch.
Yeah, right field can be one of the toughest places to be as the sun is setting here in Wichita. Definitely a place that maybe as an offense you might be looking to strike, as it might be the weak spot when you have to struggle against that particular, weather element with the sun in your face.
From that overhead look, you could see Jasmine Lara out in center field looking into home, and she's doing it again, shading her eyes. And the other challenge, if that ball has hit your way, is it's coming from darkness into bright sunshine. Not always easy to pick it up. Good job here. Staying alive is Asia Weber. No balls and 2 strikes to her. Asia 263 on the year, a homer, 5 runs batted in. Asia had a base hit in the first game. She went 1 for 3. Nothing in 2 the count. Boy, that one was close. When you're 1 and 2, your job is to protect the plate. A little risky there to take one that close, but a good eye to Weber's credit. It was called a ball 2 and 2. Swing and a miss. Down she goes, and what a job by Emily Ira. She has struck out now 5. And Wichita State's going to go to the third, down 6 from Wilkins Stadium.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, it was not the half inning Wichita State wanted, down by a score of 6-0. They went very quickly in order, and now Western Illinois is right back up again with a chance to add to their 6-0 lead. Kelsey Marlowe will lead off the top of the third inning. Haley Martinez back out for Wichita State. She came on in the middle of the top of the second. Now she'll start the third. 1 ball and no strikes. She's down on the count. Two 2-0 now to Marlowe, who got it all started in the second inning when she walked with 1 out. She started a string of 6 consecutive leathernecks to score after that. She's going to be retired here. 1 hopper over to Mackenzie Wright at third, 1 away.
Interesting stat here, Steve, is that Western Illinois has actually struggled on the road so far this season. They're actually looking for their first true road win. So definitely not something that Wichita State wants to be a part of necessarily, but definitely looking like opportunity for Western Illinois so far here in the early part of the game here.
Hallie Hollitz takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Hollitz had a double back in the second inning. She scored later in the inning when Brooke Stolga, who's on deck, had that 2 RBI single to center field. Takes a strike, 1-1. Hollitz started this game at 246, and she's going to send this one through into center field for a base hit. So a nice game for her to start off. 2 for 2 with a single and a double, and Hollitz is on over at first base. So Brooke Stolga will step in now. Stolga, the 2 RBI single that I mentioned, was followed shortly thereafter by her being able to score on a 3 RBI base hit. And now she's going to send one to the fence in center field. And heading to third is going to be Hollitz. She's going to stop right there. Stolga now with a 2 for 2 start, a single and a double, and it's second and third with 1 out.
They're really putting Bailey Nickerson to work out in center field. We've seen a number of balls hit just to her right out there. Definitely an area that's been pretty hot. The fence has been hit a few times out there. And here's another opportunity where you see Western Illinois taking advantage of a good piece of hitting.
Christy Bredbender says that's enough. Mackenzie Weber is out of the dugout. She's going to go to the circle. And Wichita State is going to also make another defensive substitution as well. But part of the problem here, Jamie, is these aren't just a lot of hits that Western Illinois is stringing together. They're not cheap hits. They are smashing the ball right now.
Yeah, a lot of times you see, a little bit of the no man's land kind of pop flies, or, something that seems like it's right along the foul line or something like that. But there's been a lot of hits up the middle, a lot of tough plays for this defense. So this pitching staff, leaned on Bailey Lang in the first game. came out with only giving up 1 run, and now so far leaning on Martinez and Bingham and giving up, it looks like 6 runs, 8 hits so far in just the 3 innings of play.
So we'll see what Weber can do, and if she can now stop the bleeding. Mackenzie Weber for Wichita State, a freshman. And she's going to get her chance as well with runners at second and third. For Weber, an ERA of 10.5, but that's only in a couple of appearances, Jamie, just 2 innings. So very small sample size for her. Not fair to judge her based on the numbers with just a couple of innings on the season.
Yeah, nonetheless against 2 ranked opponents, 21 Ohio State, number 20 in Michigan. So talk about some interesting and really good hitting that she has faced thus far this early in her first season with the Shockers.
Yeah, if you've appeared in non-conference for Wichita State, there's about an 80% chance or greater you've played a very, very good opponent, whoever it was, whenever it was, wherever it was. And that's what Coach Brett Benner, Ryan Stefankowitz, wants to see. She comes out firing. First pitch strike, 0-1. And now 0-2 as Emily Ira sends one out of play. Ira's got to feel pretty good, Jamie. Swinging the bat freely when you're up 6-0. Sure does take a lot of the edge off, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've seen a lot of athletic pitchers. You know, you don't really see pitchers hit very often, and both Wichita State and Western Illinois bringing the pitchers to the plate, getting an opportunity to give themselves a little insurance on the offensive side of the game. Ira definitely looking like she's in good control, only having given up 1 hit on the mound against a great offense at Wichita State.
Talking about small sample sizes, Ira just 167 with the batting average, but in only 12 at-bats this season. High chopper here over to second. The only throw is going to be to first. And that'll be a 4-3 putout.
It's a great play by Hecker. You know, we talked about her so far just making a few plays up the middle. That's a tough chopper right into the ground. She's able to look the runner back at third and make the play. You can see here she definitely does not keep her eye off of that third base runner. She's going to check her back, make a nice little quick throw over to first base for the out.
It looked like she could have had Brooke Stolga dead to rights there between second and third. The problem is you've got a runner at third as well that you don't want to lose track of. If it were Stolga alone between second and third, maybe you go after it, but not with another runner sitting over at third. One ball, 1 strike. Runners at second and third with 2 away here in the top of the third. Well, if you're over there in the on-deck circle, which is where Jasmine Larry is, you better stay on her toes, or Rachel Beatty, excuse me, because there's some shots over that way. Blair is up at the plate now. There you can see Beatty, and a couple of screamers have been hit that way. That one upstairs, 2-2. Western Illinois has already out-hit Wichita State 8-1, and we're just in the top of the third inning. Gloved by Wright, throw to first in time, side retired. So after a bit of a shaky start, Mackenzie Weber escapes, and Wichita State now will come to the bottom of the third, trailing by 6 to Western Illinois.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Eighth batter in the order will lead it out for Wichita State. That is Bailey Nickerson. As Wichita State trying to play catch up here, down by the score of 6-0. Just one hit for Wichita State so far in the game. Nickerson, Morgan Palmer due up next, and then back to the top of the order with Mackenzie Wright. Nickerson, first pitch swings and sends one out of play. Bailey with only one plate appearance officially in the first game, and she went 0 for 1. However, she did draw a walk. In on the fists and fouled back and out of play, 0-2.
Nickerson, a freshman from Paris, Texas, coming in as her first year as a Shocker, looking to make a difference at the plate.
205 with the batting average. 2 homers for Bailey so far on the season. 6 runs batted in. Solid contact there. Right back up to shoot and a base hit. Hey, you got to see that. Like to see that if you're Christy Bredbenner out of your freshman. A well struck base hit there.
Yeah, last time we saw a hit that hard was back in the first inning with the very first batter of the game, and Mackenzie Wright. This ball just hit straight up the middle. Now that's something that Nickerson's probably looking to get her team started offensively and start a little rally. You know, you really just got to start with that pretty much opportunity and then get that contagious hitting through this lineup, one hit at a time.
Mackenzie Palmer takes a strike, 0-1. Mackenzie did not play in the first game, so this is her first time to step up today, and she's going to bounce one to second. She's going to be safe on what well could be a fielding error out at second by Hallie Hollitz. Looked like a pretty clean opportunity. Hollitz just kind of rushed it right there, I think, Jamie.
Yeah, that looked like an opportunity for her that she, again, you know, as a middle infielder, you really got to think ball first in situations like this. Coming up, it looked like she, you know, wasn't really thinking before, really getting that ball over to her throwing hand, making a solid throw over to first base. She probably was thinking a little bit about the opportunity at second, but just a little miscue there. Definitely something the Shockers going to try and take advantage of.
So Mackenzie Wright swinging a hot stick today, fouls one back and out of play. Wichita State's got something brewing here with first and second and nobody out. Mackenzie 3 base hits in the first game, and she's got 1 in this one as well. Another one fouled back, quickly behind 0-2. Two hits for Wichita State. There's Mackenzie Wright's number today, 1 for 1 with the double. That one outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ira's doing a good job staying ahead of these Shocker hitters so far with a lot of 0-2 counts. Able to really throw what she'd like to throw, a little out of the zone, kind of keep those Shockers off balance.
Just a sliver of sunshine now out on the field, and it's in very deep right field near the warning track. Another one fouled out of play. That one off the backstop. In fact, the fence in right field from about the foul pole all the way to just about straightaway center field is in sunshine, and a little bit of the warning track and grass is. In left field, though, and all the rest of the field is completely in shadows. There you go. They start to cool off a little bit on what's been a delightful Wichita day. Those have been rare in the last few months. Right, pretty well struck to right field. Shading her eyes in the sun out in right field is going to be Beatty, and she's going to make the catch. And the runner will advance from second to third. That's Nickerson, so runners at the corners, one away.
It's not an easy play for Beatty. You can definitely see a little, hesitancy, knowing where exactly that ball was going to go off the bat of right. You can see her shading her eyes up until the very moment that she gets the ball within view. Making a nice try for the throw as Nickerson tags and heads to third base. It's an awesome job as Beatty is the outfielder out there, shading her eyes and really seeing the ball in and making sure she made that out. Western Illinois is in a good situation here, so moving a runner to third base isn't really something they're too awful worried about at this point.
And as far as Mackenzie Wright's concerned, even in a flyout, to send one that deep the other way, she's still swinging the bat really well. Here's Riley Buck now. And there for a strike. Good pitch. Ira working the edges right there. Ira must have really been victimized by some poor offensive performances to have a 3.29 earned run average. Strikeout hitters at the rate that she does, but only 2-5 with a record.
They also had the opportunity to play number 4 Washington this year. Washington's had a lot of victims this year thus far, one of the best teams in college softball right now.
Throw to first, and back in time is going to be Morgan Palmer.
2 other losses Western Illinois faced was against Auburn. So they've definitely played some good teams thus far, as has Wichita State.
Common opponents too. Missouri State will be another one obviously now. Back to this screen, and Megan Henson is the catcher. We want to bring her name up because she is not in the batting lineup, so we've not called her name yet, but Henson is the catcher, and she ran out of real estate right there.
Henson's a sophomore from Munster, Indiana.
Smoked to left field, but that one is going to hook foul. And if Riley Buck is able to wait on that just a little bit longer, the deficit would have been cut in half because she got every bit of that one just around a little bit too soon. High chopper here in front of the circle. Throw to first is high. Down the right field line, that's going to score a run. And Wichita State's going to get on the board, and they've got 2 in scoring position. So Nickerson scores from third, and down to third base goes Morgan Palmer.
This is a tough play for Ira coming off the mound, and as we talked about, that throw as a pitcher, making that adjustment, especially when you're on the run and really quick about it, that's not an easy throw for her, and that goes out into the outfield, and the Shockers will take it. At this point, they're going to do whatever it takes to muster up a few runs in a row and try and get this offense back together again and make this back into a close ball game.
So now what can Lori Derrico do to try to keep the line moving? She's going to lift one over toward the first base dugout, and running out of room over there is going to be Brooke Stolga. .255 the average starting this game for Lori. Homer and 6 runs batted in. She smoked that one to left, and you can forget it. There's a homer. The second of the year for Derrico. Got every bit of that one. The Shockers get a 3-run shot. Runs batted in, 7, 8, and 9 on home run number 2 for Lori Derrico. Signs of her freshman year right there.
Woo, that's some power off the bat of Lori Derrico, and she knew it, man. She watched it all the way. You see some fans holding on to the fence. They want to see this ball just leave the yard. You can see it all the way out there. It looks like it may have scared some geese away. A couple of fans out there Looks like they may even be a little upset about the call. Could have been a foul ball there, but the umpires look like they're going to chat about it and see if that might be a reverse call.
Yep, they're going to keep it. The umpires just huddled up, all three of them, and talked about it, but they're going to keep it as a homer for Lori Derrico. And I said signs of her freshman year. It was her great breakout sophomore season last year where we saw Lori Derrico have hits like that all season long. Here, a 3-run homer. And here are the Shockers now, 6-4, just 2 runs down. One of their best hitters up there with Paige Llewellyn. Paige sends one foul and out of play.
I'm telling you, hitting is contagious, and it really doesn't matter how you do it. If it's going to be an error, if it's going to be running out a ball, if it's going to be putting a bunt down. You saw the Shockers all come and greet Derrico as she came around the bases for her home run. They had some rally caps on. You got to do what you got to do to make this game work.
Llewellyn deep to right field, and down the line, it's going to slice foul. And now it's the Shockers not getting cheated on contact either, Jamie, as they are really putting good bat to the softball here. Jamie, you talked about the Shockers celebrating home plate. How about that? Look at that.
Yeah,
everybody
happy.
Wants to get fed.
Look at those hats. That's what I'm talking about.
Llewellyn up the middle, another base hit. And now the tying run will come to the plate for none other than Madison Perrigan, as the Shockers have come alive here. Well, and sometimes, Jamie, in baseball or softball, when an offense is scuffling a little bit, especially when you've gotten away with it because of great pitching, can't maybe it take watching the opponents have a 6-run inning to really get everybody to rally and say, hey, you draw the line right here, enough's enough. It's time to get going and get serious about this.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the coaching staff for Wichita State says, well, why do we have to go and do that? You know, you're making a game out of this, and, you know, at the end of the day, the last thing you want to see is a 6 spot in your opponent's line box. But, you know, at the end of the day, these are 2 good teams battling it out. They've both faced some really great opponents thus far. This is just an opportunity for some bats to come alive. We saw a pitcher's duel in our first game with Missouri State and Wichita State back and forth, and now we're seeing a nice little hitting spree for both squads.
Strike 3 called. Madison Perrigan made quick work of. That was actually a big strikeout right there for out number 2 to get a big bat, and down she goes. Here's another look at it. Ira may have been the one right there that drew the line, said enough's enough, I need to regroup.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch against a really great hitter for Wichita State. That's a huge out for Ira.
Caitlin Bingham's at the plate. Excuse me, Mackenzie Weber's at the plate. Sliding back in was runner at first for the Shockers, Llewellyn. There's a swing and a miss. One ball, one strike to count to Mackenzie Weber. Just her 5th plate appearance of the season, no hits. She's down on the count here, 1-2.
Weber does a good job of watching the ball. Typically does have 2 walks on the season. Now she is a true pitcher. Does a little bit of at-bat appearances as you see her doing here. Seeing if she can add a little insurance for her offense and her defense, really, in this spot in the lineup.
Sends one back to the screen. 1-2. Well, you know, it's gotten a little chillier. I talked about the shadows now. Christy Bredbenner's got the warm-ups on now. She went with the shorts in game 1, but getting a little chilly out there now. Wind's starting to pick up as well, Jamie, and it's still out of the north, which is going to mean it's also going to be a little cooler. Good job by Weber right here, staying alive. There you can see the breeze. Nothing like we had on Tuesday, but then again, it is starting to pick up compared to what we saw earlier today, like in game 1. That one rises high, 2-2.
Hitting coach Elizabeth Economans got to be really excited about her offense here, making the adjustment as early in the game as inning 3. It's an opportunity to come back, put some hits together, and really show what they've got at the plate.
Tipped it into the glove, and down goes Weber, and down go the Shockers, but they're right back in this thing thanks to Lori Derrico, smoking one to left and down the line. Western Illinois only by 2.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, the Shockers have made their statement in the 3rd inning that they're not going to go easy here today. They've got this thing back down to a 2-run game now, 6-4, thanks in large part to this swing right here, one that everybody knew was going to be a home run swing once contact was made.
Yeah, that's a lot of power off the bat of Lori Derrico, and Ira's providing a little bit of power in herself off the pitching mound here. But you can see the Shockers, man, they were all about that. Those rally caps were on. They were ready to get something started, and they certainly did with the 4 spot in the bottom half of the 3rd.
First pitch to Rachel Beatty, swung on and fouled back to this screen. So 6-4 as we go to inning number 4 as Wichita State tries to make it 2 out of 2. Shockers already have 1 win today under their belts. That one over Missouri State. Western Illinois lost to Missouri State prior to that, so they're trying to come back and salvage 1 out of 2 themselves. A ball and a strike, the count to Rachel Beatty. Low and away, 2-1.
Mackenzie Weber here, the pitcher for the Shockers. 1 brother and 4 sisters. She's actually got some triplets in her family as younger siblings.
3 balls and a strike. Usually when it's like 4 brothers and a sister, you think the poor girl, but the brother was on his own on that one, I guess.
Oh, he's lucky. Come on, Steve.
I'm saying he's lucky. It's when it's the other way around when the girl's in trouble. All the brothers. Beatty draws a walk. She's on at first. Well, let's see if Mackenzie can now use that momentum from the bottom of the 3rd inning as she is out there in the top of the 4th. Does walk the leadoff batter, but Shockers would love nothing more than to get back to the dugout in a hurry and try to keep that offensive momentum going. They started in the bottom of the 3rd. Time is called here. Perrigan out from behind the dish. Speaking of Madison, Jamie, in the first game, we got a great shot behind the plate of some fans. I don't know if they were relatives or what, but a couple of them sitting next to each other, both of them wearing Butters shirts. It said Butters on the back with, I think, the number 0.
That's awesome.
Pitches outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Do you know where the Butters nickname came from?
I don't. That's something I think that is stuck since really, really early on in life. Yeah, you've got that hoodie there. You got some fans out shooting for Madison Perrigan, a.k.a. Butters.
Now, that was a different person. And I think who we saw earlier were actually wearing T-shirts. So we've seen a hoodie, a Butters hoodie, and Butters T-shirts. The school's getting marketed pretty well.
Maybe there's a Butters store that we're not sure
I think there should be.
or aware of yet.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. The count at the plate to Peyton Abbott. Peyton Abbott struck out in the second inning, grounded into a fielder's choice in the first. Up high and down to first base she goes. So first and second. This is not going the way that Mackenzie Weber or Christy Bredbender wanted, or Ryan Stefankowitz, who is marching out to the circle, and he doesn't look real happy here. Certainly not when you walk. Hitters back to back, and he quickly grabbed the softball and said, "That's enough." Bailey Klitsky is on her way out now. Well, and again, the Shocker team trying to find a complement to what they've gotten so far this season in the circle from Bailey Lang, but certainly today they've not been able to find that complimentary pitcher. Shocker fans, if you want to shop the largest selection of Shocker merchandise at the official store of Wichita State University, check out the Radigan Student Center bookstore. It's located on the first floor of the Radigan Student Center on campus, or you can shop online 24/7 at WSUBooks.com. Find everything you need for every generation of Shocker Nation. Join our Shocker Rewards program for cash back on future purchases. The University Bookstore, the place to shop. Been there quite a few times myself, Jamie, and I'm sure you have as well over the years.
Oh, yes. That was frequently visited by my parents when we would come to visit Wichita. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and a lot of Shocker swag down there for sale. So we hit the bookstore as often as possible to pick up the newest, latest, and greatest swag at Wichita State.
Bailey Klitsky makes her 8th appearance of the season. 2-1 is her record. Somebody who got several looks during non-conference last season, but when it came to conference time, she saw very little action, understandably, with Jenny Brooks and Katie Malone, but also somebody who at times showed flashes of being a freshman, but at the same time showed just enough of that potential, and the reason that she's here, that you hope that soon she'll start to find it.
You'll see a couple things out of Bailey Klitsky, one of them being a fantastic changeup. I mean, she's got the spin that I just have never seen before in a changeup. It's a fantastic pitch coming from the left side. But one thing you're also going to notice is she does struggle to hit her spot. So it's going to be really important to keep that ball count low. She starts right here behind 2-0 on the count. So she wants to make sure that she's going to keep these hitters off balance with some strikes and really put her defense to work behind her.
2 balls and no strikes. The count to Haley Dua, who sends one back to the screen, 2-1. There you see Dua's production in this game. The RBI double was back in the second inning. That was when Western Illinois scored all 6 of their runs. Klitsky there, a strike on a swing and a miss, 2-2. Klitsky has pitched in 13 1/3 innings coming into the game this season, 4.72. I mentioned the earned run average. There's a swing and a miss, and down goes Dua. Klitsky thought there was 2 outs and there were none. Yikes. She might hear about that when she goes back to the dugout. Ashley Minyard steps in now. Sometimes you'll see, like, outfielders, when there's 2 outs, they think it's the 3rd out, and they've been known to throw the ball into the stands or just start jogging in. But sometimes they do that when there's 2 outs. There were none.
Get a little excited as a pitcher when you see strike 3 called. You think, all right, it's a great way to end an inning, right? Let's get this offense up. We'll have to wait for just a few more outs, and we'll see what the Shockers can do.
Well, it looks like this is the end of the line for relief pitchers for Wichita State before they go back to old reliable. Caitlin Bingham is their starter. Caitlin Bingham is warming up back in the dugout again in the bullpen. Now here's a rundown between second and third, and what happened? Tagged out between second and third.
Looks
now
like,
there's a discussion if there's a dead ball or not.
yeah, looks like Minyard thought she got hit by that pitch off Bailey Klitsky, but there was no call from the umpire. No dead ball call, no hit by pitch. So the runners were fooled, thinking, well, let's move to the next base. And Wichita State woke up and said, well, we're going to tag you. It doesn't look like Christy Breadbinner is very excited about that call.
It is pretty unusual to see an out call like that and then come back and wipe it away. And this discussion's not over. All right, we're going to go back and look and look at a replay and try to figure out everything that happened here in a very bizarre scenario. But we presume that Rachel Beatty, between second and third, thought that she was going to get to advance to third base, was tagged out because the Shockers thought the ball was live. Here it is. Okay, she thought it was ball 4. It was not ball 4. That's a live ball.
Yeah, there was only one ball at the time, so
that's a live ball.
yeah, I didn't see in the replay if there was a call on the home plate umpire there, but that's definitely what Coach Breadbinner was arguing there, is that there really was no call. Runner took off to first. Almost seems like a trick play that any offensive player could make. They start walking down to first and your runners start moving. It's kind of an interesting situation. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
And they just, boy, I don't get that. How do you wipe that away? Fly ball to second, and there is Hecker. So in the last 10 minutes, we've seen a pitcher leave the circle thinking there was 3 outs when there was 1. And with no balls, a batter ran down to first base as if she just got issued ball 4. You know, it's not possible that Minyard thought that that pitch hit her. It wasn't that close to her, I don't think. What a bizarre, but regardless, that's a live ball. And that runner, Beatty, is out between second and third, and she was just given the base back.
Absolutely. That was a heads-up play actually by Wichita State defense, because they could have been just as fooled and said, oh, I'll just take the bag. But they threw it over there, and actually the third base umpire at the time called her out.
Yeah, which was the right thing to do. And now we've got more controversy and an out at second base. Coach Breadbinner came out of the dugout yelling, and they got the call at second base, and a very bizarre half inning has come to a close. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to the bottom of the 4th inning in a 2-run game, but a lot of fireworks outside the lines as well. to the bottom of the fourth of what's turned into a bizarre game. Jamie, are you familiar with the look-back rule in softball?
So the look back rule is when the pitcher has full access to the ball in the circle, and you'll see that with Klitsky. Once she's in the circle with the ball, actually this is actually the play back when we had kind of the bizarre play where we thought that maybe there was a hit batter, and so runner takes off to first, runners begin to move, Shockers throw it over to third because they don't think there's anything up and actually tag the runner out. Third base umpire calls her out, and then the entire thing was wiped away. A lot of drama being stirred up. Wichita State's coaching staff not happy with that call, and nonetheless came out of it without any runs being scored.
And then the look-back rule is how the half inning ended, which was another bizarre play. That was with the runner at second base.
Right. Look back rule is going to be when the pitcher is holding on to the ball and the runners are on the bags. Now, if the runner comes off the base and makes an attempt to go somewhere when the pitcher has the ball, that's an out. You can't be off the base when the pitcher's got the ball, and you got to make the attempt to head back to your base, and that just wasn't the chance for Western Illinois. So a couple of odd outs for that inning in particular, but nonetheless, here we are.
Asia Weber grounds to first, one out, and now Wichita State will try to pull closer here. Is stepping up to the plate for the Shockers is Bailey Nickerson. Shockers got a 3-run home run right down the left field line from Lori Derrico in the last inning after trailing 6-0, and now they're within 2. Two balls and no strikes to Nickerson. And a hot shot back up the middle. That'll be through for a base hit. Ira got a glove on it, but only able to deflect it on into center field, and the Shockers have a 1-out single.
It's the second time Bailey Nickerson in her 2 at-bats so far against Ira, coming right back up the middle with a hot shot. And you see Ira making the attempt to put her glove on it, but there was a little too much mustard on that coming off the bat of Bailey Nickerson. Nice piece of hitting from the freshman.
So, Shockers will now send up to the plate Morgan Palmer. Down on the count, no balls and a strike. Morgan reached on an error and scored back in the 3rd inning. This one's over to short, and it's going to be bobbled at short. And that likely will be an E6 as Peyton Abbott couldn't handle it cleanly. Palmer does run with good speed, so we'll see. It was a bit of a slow bouncing ball, but it's possible they could have even gotten the runner at second. Here it is again.
Yeah, it looked like that just was a misplay on that. But, you know, when you've got someone like Morgan Palmer up to bat, probably the quickest hitter in the lineup for Wichita State, it puts a lot of pressure on you to make a good play. And she did a great job putting it exactly where a lefty slapper wants to put it. You know, she's one of 3 seniors in this lineup for Wichita State, and she's proven it right there that she's going to keep this ball rolling. This looks just like what the 3rd inning looked like for Wichita State, and they scored 4 runs then. So this is definitely the start that they want to see with Mackenzie Wright up to the plate.
And Mackenzie recorded her first out of the day in her last at bat, but she struck it very well. A fly ball to right field. Hit pretty deep to right field as well. So 3 for 3 in the first game. Then had a double in this game to start the bottom of the 1st inning. So it was a 4 for 4 day combined, and even in her out again, she made good contact. So we'll see if she can do that here. She sends one over the fence. We'll start over at 6 apiece. Big swing and a miss. Big things expected of Mackenzie this season after the Shockers lost so many seniors, so many valuable seniors. Leadoff hitter, 3rd baseman, solid glove. Very good hitter as well. Good eye there to take one outside.
This is a count that Ira likes to see. Ahead, 1-2 on the batter. She has definitely shown that she can throw some strikes, and Wichita State has done a good job just in this in the third, doing a good job of making some adjustments offensively, but she keeps coming to the plate with some good pitching.
Pretty well struck again. Now coming on is going to be the second baseman, and making the catch over at second base is going to be Hollins. I saw the center fielder, Jasmine Lara, start over to her left on a dead run. Like that one might carry a while, but it was a fly ball to second base, and they're now 2 away. So with runners at first and second now, we'll see what Riley Buck can do. Riley will send one deep to center field. This one is back. Moving over to her left is going to be the center fielder, Lara, and she makes the catch. Riley gave it a ride, but a fly ball out to center. We'll go to the fifth. Western Illinois still by 2.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
On to the fifth inning now. A 6-4 game. Each team has scored all of their runs in 1 inning. Western Illinois, a 6-run second. Wichita State came back with a 4-run third. As we move now to the fifth inning, and Bailey Klitsky, who finished up the last inning, will start this one, trying to keep the Shockers within 2. So it'll be Kelsey Marlowe that'll lead things off for Western Illinois. Marlowe, then Holly Hallens and Brooke Stolga. 6, 7, and 8 for the Leathernecks. And Klitsky's first offering is a strike.
Klitsky's a sophomore from Apache Junction, Arizona.
I mentioned that she was somebody who did not see a lot of action once conference play started, Jamie, last season, but one thing she did benefit from was getting to watch how it's done from the likes of Katie Malone and Jenny Brooks. Now is the time. You hope that starts to pay off.
Yeah, and you can definitely see how she and Bailey Lang, could certainly come together as a duo on the left side to kind of provide a whole new look to hitters. When you see 2 pitchers that are coming from the left side on one single staff, and you've got a mix of right-handers with Bingham and Martinez and Weber, it's really kind of a cool, interesting mix to have for a pitching staff to hopefully go deep into a season.
Low and away to Marlowe. 2 balls and 1 strike. First pitch for Wichita State tomorrow at 1:30. It'll be these 2 teams doing battle again. That one's down low. Shockers were victorious over Missouri State earlier today. Western Illinois lost to Missouri State earlier today. Good pitch. Well, I thought that was a strike. It was. Marlowe threw the bat away. She thought that was ball 4. I thought it was a strike call. Did the home plate umpire raise his right arm and say strike?
Yeah, we're going to see here on the replay. I was definitely close enough, and he calls strike, but then we allow her to walk down to first.
What in the world?
I'm really confused on what's going on here with the calls.
Was an illegal pitch called?
Okay, illegal pitch. Now that makes sense. Got it. Okay, because I was really confused there. Okay.
I mean, why not? You can call a runner out and then during live play and then decide to send her back to second base. Why not? Holly Hallens up at the plate now. So an illegal pitch sends Marlowe to first base. It's a good thing, Jamie, that you're here, or I would be totally lost by now.
I don't know.
I would be further lost.
Okay, there we go. It's a little better because I was a little lost with you.
Okay. Downstairs, 3 balls and no strikes. This is important, though. We joke. Important stretch right here for Bailey Klitsky and the Shockers to stay within 2 now as we're moving on to the later innings of the game. So pretty important here for Klitsky to keep Western Illinois at bay, and she comes through with a big, much-needed strike right there, 3-1.
Also, as the weather has kind of shifted a little bit, sure, just a little chilly out there, a little bit darker now. This defense has to keep moving. Be ready for the ball to come your way.
Down low, ball 4. So an ominous start to this half inning for Bailey Klitsky, an illegal pitch and now a walk, and that puts runners at first and second. And boy, just all the way around, Jamie, the hits that we talked about Western Illinois picking up earlier in the game were very hard hit balls, and now the walks and illegal pitches. Not something that has to please Christy Bredbender and Ryan Stefankowitz, their pitching coach. And Coach Bredbender has the entire infield there, well, the entire defense, but most all the conversation is directed at her pitcher, as you can see. And you can talk about defensive alignment and what to do here and there, but it all boils down to throwing strikes, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You really got to use your defense. You know, I pitched a little bit here at Wichita State, and I struggled to do that too. It can kind of get in your head when you start to aim too much. You're trying to do too much as a pitcher, and you really just got to put it there. Let your defense do some work. This is an opportunity to get a few outs here with 2 runners on. You really got to look to get the lead out and make sure, as you said, Steve, earlier in this inning, to keep that lead at 2.
Pitch is in there for a strike to Brooke Stolga, who's having a big night. A pair of base hits for her, a 2 RBI single in the second inning, and she followed that up with a double in the third. Up high for a ball. Shockers are fairly lucky to only be down by 2, because when Stolga doubled in the third, Jamie, they stranded runners at second and third. Wichita State was fortunate to get out of that half inning, having only allowed 6 runs in the game, as this one is fouled back and out of play. The inning that had all the bizarre antics in it did not end up costing Wichita State any runs. That was the good thing. Ground ball to right, backhands, throws to first, and the throw is in time, and McKenzie stepped on third in the process as well. That is a 5-3 double play. How about the job by Wright to have the presence of mind to step on the bag, then fire over to first?
It can be so easy as an infielder to get really caught up when a ball's heading right toward your base. That can be a little bit scary as an infielder. Man, she handled it just like a senior veteran should, and she took advantage of it being right there, right in line with her bag, and she didn't even think twice. She made that throw right over to first base. She knew her team needed 2 outs, and that's huge for Bailey Klitsky.
Here it is again. Perfectly placed for McKenzie to step on the bag and then fire over to first. So it's the pitcher Emily Ira that's going to send one into center field. That's going to get down. That'll be a base hit. And that's going to score a run as Ira, who's not collected a lot of hot hits this season, gets one there and makes her way all the way down to third base. It's 7-4. Western Illinois has got the lead. And for Ira, that is just her second run batted into the season.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see for Wichita State. You know, so close to getting out of the inning without offering up another run. This one sends Nickerson all the way to the wall. Looks like she actually trips up, so Ira takes advantage, goes all the way to third base. Her first season head coach there, Galitko, bringing her all the way in, trying to give her team an opportunity to extend that lead.
Nickerson's had a bit of a tough go of it out in center field. Remember, she's the one that missed the cutoff man earlier today, and Christy Bredman ran all the way out toward the first base coach's box from the dugout and let her know about it. Attempted bunt right there by Jasmine Lara. No balls and 2 strikes. Klitsky a little frustrated right there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Lara came into this game with both offenses in mind, having the most hits on the season. Coming into this game, she had 20 hits. That's more than anyone else that's been in the offensive lineup for either team today.
And Bailey is noticeably frustrated right there. She had a little bit of a yell and frustration at herself as that one was not close and the count's even 2-2. That one bounces. And again, important right here with a runner in scoring position for Klitsky to try to get out of the inning and minimize the damages. Wichita State's down by 3 right now. But Emily Ira is standing down at third base as a potential 8th run of the game for Western Illinois. And down to first base goes Lara on the walk. Boy, you just don't like to see the self-inflicted wounds, Jamie. The illegal pitch and now 2 walks here in the inning.
Yeah, that's that control talked about with Klitsky earlier. You know, in her first season, she showed that she can be pretty wild as a pitcher, but she's also shown that she can do great things. She had an awesome game against Texas this year. In the win at 7-5 that the Shockers picked up. So she has the potential to do a good job. It's just all a matter of kind of getting out of your head as a pitcher. Don't try to overthrow. I do feel like she's a little behind on her swing back. She's hitting her hip a little bit, and that's causing the ball to go into the dirt. So just really finishing the pitch, trust where it's going to go, and really trust your defense to make the plays behind you.
1 ball and no strikes to Rachel Beatty. And that one in there for a strike. A 6-run second and 1 so far here in the 5th for Western Illinois. They're threatening again with runners at the corners, but there are 2 away. Beatty sends this one out of play. Beatty had the big blow in the 2nd inning when Western Illinois scored 6 times. A bases clearing double. She later scored in the inning as well when Haley Dua came up and doubled her home. Western Illinois batted around in that 6th inning. Swing and a miss there, and down she goes, and that is the 3rd out of the inning as Paragon goes over for the tag. But 1 more for Western Illinois as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Leathernecks by 3 on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, Wichita State's given up another one to Western Illinois. The deficit now 3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Shockers do have the meat of their order up there. Lori Derrico, then Paige Llewellyn and Madison Paragon. Derrico had a crushing home run down the left field line in that 4-run third for Wichita State. It was a 3-run homer. Shockers would love to see her set the table here as she sends one back to this screen. 0-1. Second home run of the year for Lori. Runs batted in 7, 8, and 9 for her. Right side, this one is going to slice. It's going to leave the yard and foul ground. 0-2, Derrico behind in the count. Madison Perrigan had been running away with the RBI total for Wichita State with 13. As there you see the rally hats, Jamie.
Yeah, it looks like this Shocker team would love to see Lorianne Derrico start something. She's got potential putting the bat on the ball. Unfortunately, not coming up with a hit this time.
Now, Jamie, when you're out in public, do you ever wear hats like that?
You know, I don't have much to rally for these days, Steve. You know, I look a little weird, I think. I wouldn't have anyone joining me. Can you imagine just if one girl in there was doing that?
Well, you know, there's something to be said for individuality, a little uniqueness. Did you wear anything like, did you guys have rally caps when you played? Or?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I wore a visor all the time. So, hey, whatever we could do to help the cause.
Well, the Shockers are putting bat on the ball, but it's right at defenders. There's another look at the dugout. Yeah, I kind of like it because usually the old rally caps were just the backwards caps or whatever. These have a little bit of a nerdy kind of look to it almost. Look at Mackenzie Wright dancing over there in hers.
Yeah, you got to keep this team alive one way or the other. Still got some ball to play. And you can't hit every single at bat. You got to lean on your teammates. So if there's one thing you can do, you can talk it up. You can rally it up. Figure out a way to really come back from this deficit against Western Illinois.
Madison Perrigan smashes one. This is going to go into left center field, and Madison's going to motor into second with a double. Well, there are 2 outs, but hey, there's a such thing as 2-out rallies. Let's see if the Caps can help motivate the Shockers further here with 2 away.
Madison Perrigan really connects with this ball. Man, what a nice hit right into the gap. Goes all the way to the wall. I'll tell you what, that wall is banged up. That warning track has been run all over by a few of the players here on the field. These teams have both been hitting really well, specifically up the middle. And Madison Perrigan, man, she's not going to let anything go without a fight. She gave a great opportunity there, and the rally cap seemed to maybe have given her a little nice juju on that opportunity.
Cassidy Kelsheimer's gone in to run out at second base for Wichita State. And the Shockers up to the plate now will get Bailey Klitsky. So Bailey's going to get a chance here to bat. She's had one at bat this season. 0 for 1. She actually scored a run, though, this season, running the bases. She takes here 1 ball with no strikes. And there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. What do we know about Bailey Klitsky, the hitter, Jamie?
Not much. So that's
there's not a lot on her.
No, and that's great actually because you know, the defense doesn't either. So you really never know what she can do. In fact, if there's one thing that you've seen from Klitsky at the plate so far this season, she knows how to watch the ball. I mean, if it's a ball, she's not going to give any kind of hack to it. She's actually got a nice swing from the left side. So we've now seen 3 pitchers come to the plate for Wichita State, and Bingham, Weber, and now Klitsky.
Takes inside there. She did not have any at-bats last season. She did appear offensively in 1 game, but no at-bats for Bailey. Officially, I would assume that she was in as a runner because she's listed as having played in 1 game last year, but no official at-bats, no walks. Sends this one foul. Pretty good cut right there and going the opposite way as well. 3 balls and a strike. Well, when you're a pitcher, especially one that doesn't pitch much and you hit even less, it's got to be a lot of motivation up there to try to help your team out and help your own cause. In a situation like this, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Even a walk would be fine. Another one the other way. This one could be playable. Nope, it's going to trickle just over the fence down the left field line. Over toward the bullpen for Western Illinois. But Bailey's doing a good job of fighting him off, staying alive.
Yeah, this is a nice little battle between Ira and Klitsky. Ira also being a hitter and a pitcher for her Western Illinois team. Done a little damage of her own so far today. I'm sure Klitsky would like to do just that.
And a good eye, and she draws the walk. Well, that's all you ask if you're Christy Breadbinner. Get on base. Doesn't matter how. Just get on, and that's exactly what Klitsky did. She stayed patient there for ball 4, Jamie.
You know, this ball goes out of the zone. That's an awesome job by Klitsky because it's actually a pretty nice little pitch from Ira. Had good spin on it, right down the heart of the plate, and Klitsky does a good job not swinging at it, and that's an awesome job by her. Just as you said, this staff is going to say, you know what? You may not be the best hitter in this lineup or hit very often for that matter, but if you get on base, by all means, we'll step aside and allow that to happen.
So here's Bethany Canada now stepping up from the right side with runners at first and second, 2 away. So the Shockers trying to mount a 2-out rally here after Lori Derrico grounded out to short and Paige Llewellyn a hot shot 1-hopper back to the circle. They've gotten a double and a walk, and now Canada trying to keep the inning alive. She also represents the tying run with the Shockers down 3 and 2 runners on. Back to the screen, 0-2. Bethany was a pinch hitter in the first game. She went 0 for 1. That puts her batting average at an even 100. She is 1 for 10. So this her 11th plate appearance of the season. Snap throw to first, and back safely is going to be Bailey Klitsky.
That was a quick decision from Henson. Holy cow. That was a nice rifle throw down that way, but way to get back to the base was Klitsky, because I thought that was pretty darn close.
If we don't get a third out here, I've got a question going back to Bailey Klitsky. Foul back, and that question is, if you're not for Wichita State, Bailey Lang, but you're a pitcher, how much batting practice do you take?
Not much.
Yeah.
No. I guarantee there's been very little batting practice from this pitching staff. They're really focused on being the pitchers that lead the team as far as defensively. So I highly doubt there's been too many at-bats taken by the pitchers who are rarely getting up to the plate.
Pitches upstairs now to Canada, and all of a sudden things are getting interesting here with 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, but 2 on. So how about all the deuces here? Wichita State's down by 3. Upstairs, and now the count's full, and now it's really interesting because now the runners will be moving. The count is full.
It's a great job by Bethany Canada coming in, have control. Should pretend like this is your 4th at-bat of the game.
Bailey Nickerson waits on deck. Here's the pitch, and that's ball 4. And they are loaded with Shockers now. With 2 outs, is Nickerson about to come to the plate, and Christy Breadbinner is going to get a courtesy runner over at first base. And it looks like the Shockers are going to get Asia Weber over at first base. So Weber will run. There's a conversation over at the circle and up the third base line as well, as this thing's gotten pretty interesting now in a wild game in various ways.
Definitely has. You see all 3 members of the coaching staff here for Wichita State coming together. Let's refocus. Let's look and see if we can make a big inning with 2 outs. Coach Elizabeth Kahneman there, you see, definitely working with her offense. This is her first season with Wichita State, coming on after being a head coach at Pittsburgh State for a number of years here in Kansas. And so she's been working with these hitters, seeing what they can do to adjust, specifically the young ones coming in for their first chance at some college at-bats. So this is an opportunity for Bailey Nickerson to stay hot. If I'm Western Illinois, this is not who I want to the plate right now.
She's been on base both times tonight, and Shockers would love nothing more than to see that here as she takes a strike, 0-1. Nickerson singled her last time up. She also reached and scored back in the third when she got a base hit. Foul back to the screen. And over it, 0-2. So a pair of singles for Nickerson. So her base hits represent a third of Wichita State's 6-hit total tonight, Jamie.
Yeah, if I'm Ira or Lara for Western Illinois, I am fully aware that she's gone up the middle a couple of times and to be ready for that bat coming to me.
Well struck, but slicing into foul ground and room in right field. And making the catch is Beatty, and the side retired. The Shockers leave them loaded down to their final 6 outs now. They tail by 3.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, we moved on to the 6th inning now in a 7-4 game. Wichita State's trailing Western Illinois by 3. Bailey Klitsky, the lefty sophomore out there for Wichita State, trying to keep these Leathernecks at bay, and she'll have to contend with those near the top of the order for the Leathernecks here in the top of the 6th inning. And it'll be Peyton Abbott, the shortstop, that will lead things off. Abbott, then Haley Dua and Ashley Minyard. So it's 3, 4, and 5 for Western Illinois on what's turned into a cool, breezy night here for softball in Wichita. And that pitch was called illegal from the onset. Wasn't close anyway. 1 ball and no strikes. Catch what happened there, Jamie?
Yeah, without seeing too closely to her feet, just from here, it's tough to say. But Bailey Klitsky has had a few of these illegal pitches called today, and I think what I've seen so far is that her back foot isn't on the mound to begin, and that is part of the rules here in Division I college softball, is to have both feet on the mound as you start your windup. So if that back foot falls off at all, they are going to call that an illegal pitch.
Well, she's bounced back nicely with back-to-back strikes, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. 15 hits combined between these two teams. Western Illinois has 9 of them. And there's a strike. And strike 3, so down goes Abbott, 1 away. Boy, Jamie, Western Illinois has committed 3 errors, and if you're Christy Breadbender, you know that when the opponents give you that many opportunities, you want to make and pay and capitalize, and I'm sure she'd like to see her team get in the win column when you've been given that many gifts in a game. This has been a team over the years known to really capitalize on the opponent's mistakes.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, you've seen the Shockers leave a lot of runners on base. I think that really comes back to haunt you in a lot of cases, that even though you're giving up some, you know, you had some errors against you, you're leaving some of those runners on base that maybe reached by an error.
Deep at second, Dua sends Hecker, but nice play there, 2 away. Well, this is what Wichita State was hoping for so far, to get a quick 2 up and 2 down. Here's the play Not quite as easy as it looked, Jamie, as this one was pretty deep in the hole at second.
Yeah, that's a great play. Going right up the middle, it's just something that you think it looks easy, but that's really because Hecker can make some plays look pretty easy over there, and they're really not. She has some great range, awesome defensive player for Wichita State.
Well, you know, we talked about earlier Bailey Klitsky getting to watch who she watched in the circle the last couple of years. How about Kaylee Hecker getting to watch one of the best ever at second base, Kelly Spring, do it?
Yeah, most
for
definitely.
so many years.
Absolutely. Seen a lot of role models recently in recent years for Wichita State, ranging all the way across the board. A lot of first teamers on the conference, all-conference team for the Missouri Valley, all being a part of some really historic years at Wichita State, going deep at in 2016 with the win in the finals in the regionals at Tulsa. So definitely an opportunity to learn from a lot of people.
They're going to learn from Mackenzie Wright, and she keeps showing them why. Diving stab right there on a foul ball, and Western Illinois goes in order thanks to some fancy glove work at the hot corner for the Shocker senior leader. Wichita State trails by 3.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
They had any more of these. Now, Jamie, as we look out over to the east, it is nowhere near that bright. Bottom of the 5th inning, Wichita State trailing by the score of 7-4. That camera angle was back to the west, though, where, of course, it's going to be a little bit lighter, but a huge difference. As you look out toward the east over the baseball stadium, it's pretty dark that way.
Definitely is. Yeah, this is a completely different start than what we saw. Bright sunshine, very little wind. Winds picked up just a little bit. And now seeing the lights here at Wilkins Stadium actually turning on and really illuminating the field, as you can see there.
Yeah, you can see it's a lot darker toward that direction. That's the vantage point we have. 1 ball and 1 strike here as we start the bottom of inning number 6. And this one fouled back. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Palmer's put some pressure on the defense of Western Illinois so far. Ground ball to second, ground ball to shortstop, both of which getting on safely. Definitely something she wants to do to start this inning for the offense.
One hopper over to third and fielded there cleanly. Kelsey Marlowe with the throw over, 1 away. So the Shockers now down to their final 5 outs, trailing by 3. Mackenzie Wright stepping up to the plate now. Mackenzie's flied out her last 2 times up, once to second, once to right field. She was 4 for 4 for the day. Prior to that, going back to the first game of the Shocker doubleheader as they took on Missouri Western, or excuse me, as they took on Missouri State to start the day. Is it a doubleheader when you play 2 different teams in the same day?
Yes, yeah. I mean, technically you as a team are playing 2, so that's where the doubleheader comes in. Being a doubleheader against the same opponents, typically what the Shockers saw in like Missouri Valley play. For conference opponents, they'd face 2 games against the same team on Saturday and 1 game on Sunday. So still a doubleheader, technically today.
Just want to make sure we're using proper terminology here. These things matter.
Yes, they do.
2 balls and a strike to Mackenzie Wright. Well, it is a doubleheader. Whatever, the Shockers are going to do it again tomorrow in reverse order. Missouri, why do I? Western Illinois, and then Missouri State. Lifted right side and out of play.
They're both a hint of purple, so maybe that's what's happening.
That's
got a little maroon.
part of it. And there's a Missouri and there's a Western in both teams.
Yes, there is.
There really is.
Yep.
Yes. Still. It's been a long day.
And then there's a Wichita State, so then you might be, you know, Missouri State.
And then if you travel to other places around the area, they say Wichita's not a state.
That is true. Neither is Pittsburgh State, Fort Hays State, but we have them here in Kansas.
They are. Another good piece of hitting by Mackenzie Wright. There's going to be a throw to first base from right field, but an easy single. And Mackenzie continues to swing the bat well. That is now 5 hits today. And again, she's going the other way, Jamie. She did that on a deep fly ball where it was an out, but she still made good contact. And there you can see a little inside-out action there. Taking it the other way.
Yep, she provided a lot of power there, and you can see her again just bringing up an opportunity in that one spot of getting on. You know, her first hit of the game was a line drive out to left, so working both sides of the field today.
And there's a shot that's going to get into center field and a base hit for Riley Buck. Well, I was about to point out earlier that Christy Bredbenner's got to be pleased with the bottom of the lineup. Nickerson, a couple of base hits. Morgan Palmer's been on a couple of times. Now the top of the order starting to come, and maybe top and bottom, everybody's starting to get this thing going here. The Shockers have picked up 8 hits. They still trail by 3, but only 1 out. They've got the tying run coming up to the plate, and just the right person to do it as well. Certainly by today's standards, Lori Derrico earlier in this game, a 3-run homer. So back-to-back hits after the half inning started with Morgan Palmer grounding out, and now Lori Derrico, if she does what she did in the 3rd inning, will have a brand new game. Outside here, ball 1.
I'll tell you what, you're seeing Ira here for Western Illinois actually starting with a ball, and in a lot of batters so far this game, she's started with a strike. So definitely just kind of losing a little bit of her control, it seems, and then bringing it in tight for strike. So it's definitely something that the Shockers should be seeing as an opportunity to capitalize if they're going to be ahead in the count against a great pitcher in Ira.
Pretty good swing at it right there for Derrico, but the count's even 1-1. Paige Llewellyn waits on deck. So the Shockers have the sticks up there they want. Can they capitalize now? They're going to here, it looks like. Derrico's going to get this one down, a base hit to center field. And Christy Bredbenner will stop Mackenzie Wright at 3rd. Probably a big reason why is because Paige Llewellyn is coming to the plate. But they are loaded with Shockers now with only 1 out. So Llewellyn represents the go-ahead run after a nice piece of hitting here by Lori Derrico.
It's a great hit up the middle. Can't ask for anything better from Lori Derrico in that situation. Now you do have to watch. Obviously, that's a nice throw coming in from center field. So that would have been a long shot. Bredbenner sending in Mackenzie Wright, into home plate. Llewellyn, though, hopefully with the opportunity as a senior to step up, provide some runs.
And she may just have a deep bomb to center, and the Shockers have the lead. Second home run of the season for Paige Llewellyn, and what a time to do it. And there was no doubt about it.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, look, from the time she struck it, she knew it, and so did everybody else. And look at Ira, and look at Mackenzie Wright. Contrast and reaction right there. What a spot for Paige Llewellyn. Pitching change for Western Illinois, and they just look shell-shocked out there in the circle after that one.
Paige Llewellyn, I'm telling you what, She is somebody to watch this year. In her senior season, started off a little rough with an injury that kind of took her out of the game for a bit, and she comes back strong. She came back for this season strong with that unfortunate injury and just continued to be a really strong player for Wichita State. She has the drive of a senior who is not going to go out without a fight, and she did exactly that in this game, and I expect to see the same thing throughout the rest of the season.
So all of a sudden, after a game that Wichita State trailed 6-0, they've outscored Western Illinois since 8-1, and 2 mammoth home runs for the Shockers, the most recent right here, as Paige Llewellyn got every single bit of that one.
Think those rally caps helped out with that, Mustard, at all?
You can't say they didn't. I mean, none of this really started this inning until after we saw the caps, for sure. And as Paige Llewellyn was coming home, we saw the angle from center field. Coach comes out to make the pitching change in the circle, and you could just see this stunned look on her face, like, what in the world just happened? I mean, this happened fast, Jamie. 4 straight hits, single homer. And the Shockers have the lead 8-7 in what's been a very wild softball game today. Now Madison Paragon, somebody very capable of doing the same thing. She's going to send one to center, and this one is going to be caught. What a play out there in center field. As diving and coming on to make that catch was Jasmine Lara. What a nice job by her.
That was an awesome play. I mean, as an outfielder, especially kind of with the dark and the lights coming on, you've got a different view than you had at the beginning of the game. Madison Paragon with the pop-up here, and Lara with the nice diving grab, all out. That's a huge out that Western Illinois definitely needed to get that second out here for them in the defensive half.
Now, here's a big question for you. To come in and finish it off, do you go back with Bailey Lang?
You know, I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm wondering, though, and this is all just based off of the rules here, if Lang would have maybe come in here for Klitsky to hit, if that was going to be the case. Would we see her come to the plate, having been a more experienced hitter, to then go in and take over the one spot on defense? We'll see.
You could be right. Klitsky's presence right there in that at-bat may have answered the question. We'll see. Nonetheless, Paige Llewellyn, a granny to center. We go to the 7th. Shockers by 1. Well, my premonition was right. Bailey Lang now comes in for a save opportunity for Wichita State, and Lang will try to finish it off after some dramatics in the bottom of the 6th inning. Paige Llewellyn, a grand slam home run, which gave Wichita State an 8-7 lead, and you would presume that Wichita State immediately summoned Bailey Lang to the bullpen, which is probably the other reason she didn't come in and hit right there. Go ahead and let Klitsky do it. Lang continues to warm up, and now Bailey, the ace of this staff, far and away, trying to finish it off and get a Wichita State sweep this afternoon. First pitch here is a strike to Kelsey Marlowe. Marlowe, Hallie Hollitz, and Brooke Stolga trying to score at least a run and keep Western Illinois alive in this contest, but the Shockers with a pair of 4-run innings and a couple of monster home runs, 1 in each. They lead 8-7. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Marlowe.
For Wichita State, this would definitely be the biggest comeback they've seen so far this season. And another win was against Texas, 7-5 win. That's actually the most runs they've given up in a win so far this season. So putting up a 7 spot is Western Illinois.
It's the magic number. It's the threshold, it appears. 1 and 2. Fouled back to the screen. This is the 4th appearance for Bailey Lang in relief this season. Not only is she the wins leader for the Shockers, but she's got their only 2 saves as well. So this is a chance here for number 3. One hopper over to first, and an easy catch right there, and a step on the bag for Riley Buck. And now, one away. Well, you called it, Jamie, when the Shockers were down 6-0. Christy Bredbenner called the team down the right field line. Had a little fire and brimstone speech. It was a little bit animated. They didn't respond right away. It was a scoreless bottom of the second, but an inning later, the 4-run third, then things went silent for a while. Had some weird things happen in this game along the way, and then the Llewellyn grand slam at the bottom of the 6th, and here we are, 8-7 Shockers. Hallie Hollitz, no balls and 2 strikes to her. Nobody on, 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. Laying ready, and the lefty delivers, and another one foul. This one out of play.
It's no surprise Hollitz has given Bailey Lang a nice little battle here. She's been on base all 3 times so far. Nice little pieces of hitting to the outfield and then a walk. So she's had a nice little day against Wichita State. Bailey Lang looking to shut that down here toward the end.
Perrigan framed that one a little bit outside, but just a shade too far. Lang, though, had one she could waste with the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that one just the opposite, comes in too tight, 2-2. Well, you mentioned earlier, Jamie, that Western Illinois is not won on the road this season, and these are the kinds of things that can happen to a team when they get into a situation like that throughout a season. Did she go? They're going to say yes. Strike 3, and down goes Hollitz. So the strikeout there for Lang, and now it's going to be up to Brooke Stolga if Western Illinois is to stay alive. First, Ryan Stefankowitz calls a timeout. Well, this is a dangerous person right here, Jamie Stolga, who's got a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs. She had that 2 RBI single to center field way back in the 2nd inning, and then a double in the 3rd inning. And so that might be part of the conversation from Coach Stefankowitz. Emily Ira does not have near the hitting numbers that Stolga does. Not that Stolga's lit it up this season, but today swinging the bat well. You know, there's a part of you that says you don't want to put the tying run on base, but at the same time, don't give her anything really good to hit when you've got somebody less than 200 coming up next. What you certainly don't want to do is get back to the top of the order. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Because if you get to the top of the order, that means you've got 2 runners on, and you've got a much more dangerous array of hitters coming around the corner if Western Illinois can stay alive that long. Well, that one had some movement on it. 1-2. Now Western Illinois is down to their final strike.
Bailey Lang really settling in so far. I've seen her really do a good job getting a ground ball and then a strikeout. She would certainly love to put these bats to sleep for Western Illinois, send her team into the end of the night with 2 wins.
That one was close, but called a ball. So 1 ball and 2 strikes, and we try it again. Low and away, 2-2. Bailey Klitsky in line to get her 3rd win as a Shocker this season. And Bailey Lang right there looking to get her 3rd save of the year as well. And this one trickles foul. Is that a bunt?
I think that one just really jammed her up. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually almost hit the handle.
Almost like a defensive type of swing.
Exactly. Yep. Definitely trying to kind of save herself, but also save the idea of not striking out. Looking here. Just a really late decision to put the bat on the ball, but.
There's strike 3, and the side retired. It's a win, Wichita State. Bailey Lang comes in and gets the save. Paige Llewellyn, the game-winning RBI on a grand slam, RBIs I should say, a grand slam in the bottom of the 6th inning. Wichita State gets the win, and the Shockers have won 12 games this season. And what a wild one this one was. Lori Derrico had the 2nd inning bomb down the left field line. Then with the Shockers down 3, Llewellyn goes deep to center, and all of a sudden they're up 1. There was no doubt about that.
Talk about your upperclassmen stepping up to the plate and the team just rallying behind them, making sure that, you know what, there's no sign of giving up here. Shockers are going to come through no matter how late in the game it is.
Wichita State improves to 12-8 on the season. Western Illinois now falls to 6-15 as the Shockers win a wild 8-7 thriller. Paige Llewellyn, the bottom of the 6th grand slam that puts the Shockers on top. Bailey Klitsky's record is now 3-1 on the season, and Bailey Lang again picks up her 3rd save of the year as Wichita State comes away with the victory. Emily Ira now 2-6 on the year. She takes the loss. So the Shockers make it a sweep 3-1 over Missouri State. Then they come back and win 8-7 here this afternoon as the Shockers, not all about offense today. There's some defense behind their pitching staff as well. Remember that nice catch by Mackenzie Wright. And then the Shockers finish off Western Illinois. We will be with you tomorrow. A 1:30 first pitch. Wichita State and this team again. Western Illinois and the Shockers. Jamie, if that one's anything like this one, you'll want to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series tomorrow. Can't wait.
Great job by our crew, headed by Greg Mathias. Now for Jamie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 1:30 on WSU TV as the Shockers try to make it a Sunday sweep.